The Warriors playing the Kings tonight. Bryan Power is going to take that game apart. Plus, Drew Martin and a couple of baseball bets. Carmine Bianco with some hockey. I'm Lawrence Presman, and I'm back. Teddy Covers is my co-host. How are you, my friend?
Well, welcome to WagerTalk Today, your Sports Central for bettors. Each and every weekday, live, 9 a.m. Pacific time, noon for you back east. I'm doing great, Lawrence. Excited. $2 Tuesday handicapper today. So we have a 5% big ticket rolling in the NBA tonight. And of course, the NBA has been very, very good to us for many years now, including right now, what am I, 17-8 the last 25. That's just the tip of the iceberg. The NBA has been phenomenal for years. So we'll see if we can keep it rolling tonight with that $2 Tuesday best bet over at WagerTalk.com.
Well, I'll get into my trip and how I've been doing later on. Let's get straight into some actionable information. Bryan Power is joining us. Bryan, how are you, man?
Doing all right, Prez. I, too, have a 5% play, as luck would have it, in the NBA tonight. We are a perfect 6-0 all-time with 5% NBA plays since I joined WagerTalk. This is the first of the season. We hope to stay perfect. You can head over to my page, wt.buzz/BP, for that one right now.
Okay, now that everybody has gotten all of that stuff over and done with, let's talk some NBA. 2 games tonight. Sacramento must be ecstatic. I mean, they get, the crappy Golden State Warriors who have no veterans, no experience winning anything, and they're +2 at home. How do we bet this game?
Your sarcasm hasn't left you, Prez. That's what I like to hear. Look, it doesn't surprise me at all that the Kings are underdogs at home here. I'm sure you guys remember last year, these teams were matched up in the first round of the playoffs. The Warriors were the lower seed, so thus did not have home court advantage, but were a really big favorite. Their series price, if you recall, I think was historic in nature. I don't think going back, we talked about this on the NBA show yesterday afternoon. I don't think there had ever been a 6 seed that had been such a big series favorite as we saw with the Warriors. Of course, they won that series in 7 games eventually, did lose the first 2 here in Sacramento. And I've talked about here on this program, I've talked about on the NBA shows as well in my the analysis of my plays throughout the year. I was adamant Sacramento was not going to finish top 6 in the West when they were in the top 6. Year-to-date point differential, net efficiency, both indicated this was a fledgling team, a team that should theoretically be struggling to get into the play-in tournament. That's where they finished 9th. They have to host Golden State here on Tuesday. Winner moves on to face the loser of Lakers Pelicans for the 8th seed. And I am in complete agreement with the market that the Warriors are the correct side here. Now, I know the last 3 games have all been decided by 1 point between these teams, which is pretty crazy. But I just think it's hard to trust the Kings in this spot. They ended the regular season by losing 7 of 11. 3 of their 4 wins, guys, were against teams that are already home for the summer. Didn't even make the play-in tournament. A Portland team that had nothing to play for, obviously, in the regular season finale. There was a game against Brooklyn where they won by 30. Brooklyn, they're done for the year as well. I think Utah was the other win that I didn't mention. But Golden State, they've done quite well on the road this year, as you guys know. That's unlike last season. They're 27-14 ATS, 25-16 straight up away from home. That's better than Sacramento was at home this year. The Dubs have been in better form. They've won 9 of 11. One of those losses was by 2 to red-hot Dallas. Klay Thompson shooting the ball well. He's averaging 22 points over the last 7 games. Steph Curry, always a threat to take a game over. Who could forget the 50 he dropped in Game 7 last year against the Kings? He averaged 30 points this year against the Kings, who lack depth. No Herter, no Monk. I would lay the points in this one with Golden State.
So you talked about how the 3 regular season meetings, or the last 3 regular season meetings, were all decided by a single point. You talked about how last year these 2 teams played a 7-game series that was, down to the wire. Is there really any difference between Sacramento and Golden State? The betting market is saying there's a big difference. They're saying that Golden State is way better than Sacramento. And of course it's the Warriors, and the betting markets are saying that to the extent of forget the Kings' home court advantage, Golden State deserves to be favored on the road. I'm seeing 2.5s out there at a lot of books. So they're saying that on a neutral floor, the Warriors are 5 points better, 4.5 points better. than Sacramento in a series that went 7 games last year, and each of the last 3 meetings are decided by a point this year. Where does that differential come from? I understand current form, which is irrelevant now. This isn't the postseason, but current form says Golden State's played better the last couple of weeks than Sacramento. But is there really that much difference between these two teams? Because my number for this game came pick 'em. I couldn't lay 2 with the Warriors.
Yeah, I do think. I mean, a lot of it's public perception, obviously, too, which is a little bit scary. Normally, that's something I like to play against, but this is the situation where, again, I just think Sacramento, honestly, Teddy, is an average at best basketball team. I think what it boils down to, I mean, it doesn't surprise me that Golden State's favored. If this was a pick 'em, they would have immediately taken, I mean, we saw them take money anyway, opening up as a short favorite. So, I mean, I think they knew. I just think that in a one-game environment, okay, remember what happened in Game 7 last year when these teams played, okay? Golden State won that game by 20 when it was a one-game, a winner-take-all situation, and that was where here in Sacramento. It's a situation where I just see an average team that hasn't done it before against a team that I believe is a little bit better, that has done it before. They've got Curry. I just think Golden State's a better basketball team. If you don't want to lay points and want to play them on the money line, okay, I'm not going to talk you off that either. I just think Golden State's the better basketball team here. Haven't liked Sacramento all year.
Bryan Power joining us, everyone. Bryan, let's turn our attention to Champions League soccer. I just finished last night on Netflix. There is a documentary, 6 episodes, on Man City's 2023 season, going for the treble. Actually, incredible documentary. Like a real, top sports documentary. One I highly suggest to everybody, including people who don't like soccer. It's phenomenal. And I also recommend it to coaches like Bill Belichick and whatnot, so they could see the complete opposite in Pep. But today we have tomorrow, Bayern Munich against Arsenal. How are you betting this game?
And of course, City is in action against Real Madrid this week elsewhere in the Champions League. But let's talk about Bayern and Arsenal, shall we? I'm going to play Bayern not on the 3-way line where they're plus money, but rather draw no bet at minus 130. The difference, for those who don't bet soccer or may not know, in case of a draw, we're protected. The bet would be a push if these teams are tied after 90 minutes plus stoppage time instead of a loss if we took them plus money on the 3-way line. Personally, I think laying the little bit of juice is worth that luxury in this instance. Let's talk about the teams. The last 7 days were not good for Arsenal, guys. They played to a 2-2 draw in the first leg with Bayern at home. That was a match they were expected to win. I believe they closed minus 150 on the 3-way line. They took a lot of money there, and that was a disappointing result to only come away with the draw. Then over the weekend in the Premier League, chance to go top of the table on Sunday. They lose 2-0 at Aston Villa. That's a tough loss. So all of a sudden, this Arsenal team, which has been admittedly fantastic the majority of the year, finds itself no longer leading the Premier League race and needing a win here in Germany just to advance to the semis of the Champions League. And while Bayern is down this year by the measure of that they're not winning the Bundesliga. They've won the Bundesliga 11 years in a row. Leverkusen got it. You look at Understat, which I think is a great resource for helping you make your soccer wagers. They say Bayern is pretty much dead even with Leverkusen this year, and the gap should be nowhere what it is. They have a better expected goal difference, more expected points. So knowing we're protected in the case of a draw here, I think Bayern is worth a shot again. Draw no bet. They're unbeaten their last 14 home Champions League matches, and they've advanced 17 of the last 18 times they didn't lose the first leg of the knockout stage, which they haven't here. So in addition to being at home, Bayern had an extra day to prepare. They last played on Saturday in the Bundesliga, 2-0 win there. And as I mentioned, Arsenal lost to Aston Villa. That makes it back-to-back matches where Arsenal's conceded twice. That's trouble. I just don't see Bayern losing here in normal time at home. So draw no bet is the play. You can get that minus 130 either at DraftKings or FanDuel.
Well, you just answered my follow-up question. I was going to say, when you're looking for the 2-way line, draw no bet versus the 3-way line, are there specific books that you have to go to that offer that, or is that widely available anywhere?
It's widely available anywhere. And again, I think it's just to ask yourself, in this case, you have a team like Bayern, minus 130. it's just, that's not a big price to lay just to be insured in case of the draw, because if you bet them plus money, obviously that's nicer, but if it's a draw, you don't win. So it's widely available. DraftKings and FanDuel, I mean, they're not paying me. I just I made sure that this was available at places where the listeners could easily bet it, and those were two places that absolutely have that there at a relatively cheap price.
Bryan Power, 6-0 in NBA 5% plays since he joined WagerTalk. You've got one going tonight. What else?
That is it. I did not talk about MLB here on the show, but if you'd like to hear me talk about MLB, well, in a little less than 2 hours, I will be doing just that on First Pitch. I may be adding a baseball play for clients as well. Check the All Access if you already haven't signed up. But yeah, tonight it is all about that 5% play. Prez, we went 6-0 last year with 5% NBA plays. Again, this is my first 5% play of the NBA season. My first 5% play in any sport in 2 months. So we're really excited. As you see on the screen right there next to me, WT.buzz/BP is the place to get it.
Brilliant. Bryan Power, everyone. Lots of shows still to come. Drew Martin with a couple of baseball picks. Carmine Bianco with a couple of NHL picks. And, well, we're going to talk quickly. I'll give you guys a quick update. As you all know, if you follow me on Twitter, I made day 2 of the event I went to play in Montreal, but I did not get past the first 2 hours. I ended up coming 150th out of 4,000 people. I 4x'd my money, which does sound good, but it is frustrating for me. And that's really all my poker stories. Other than that, when I left you last, I said to you guys, and Teddy and I spoke about this, and I have no idea why. But I mentioned to all of you that every time I go on a trip, I have an incredible betting run. Well, I went 12-4. While I was away, I won 12 bets. I lost 4 bets. I won every single day of betting except Sunday, but I went 2-2 on Sunday, so it wasn't a bad day. I won my 5% last night. I have just continued to dominate. I won every single NHL play I released, and I got to go away again. I have no idea why that happens, but it happens all the time. So that's a quick update from me. I'm absolutely rolling in sports right now. But Teddy is the $2 Tuesday handicapper, and he has a 5% play up tonight. If I were going to bet any one single play over at WagerTalk, that would be it. Teddy, what did we learn in the wonderful world of sports betting?
Well, we learned that Lawrence can win when he's away from home. And Lawrence, if you want to leave again, by all means, your clients will appreciate it. And, I wouldn't mind it either. All that being said, let's talk some NBA playoff primers. All right. How to bet the playoffs. And when we compare it to the regular season is what I want to talk about. And obviously, you're going to hear a lot about the zigzag theory over the course of the next couple of months. The zigzag theory is the key to understanding line moves between games. The betting markets will tend to support, especially in competitive series, they're going to support the loser of the last game in their next game, expecting them to come out with a different level of intensity. And when we look at some of these game one point spreads with Indiana, Milwaukee, the Clippers and the Mavs, the T-Wolves and the Suns, the Cavs and the Magic, all games lined. Again, these are the 4 games for the weekend. They're all lined at -4.5 or less. These are very much the type of series that we would expect the game one loser to attract some significant betting attention in game 2. So that's a theory, the zigzag theory, the key to understanding how these lines moves. Who wins series? When we talk about playoff primer, who wins series? Whoever stays healthy, that's who. All right. We're going to see the healthier teams survive and advance when you talk about grueling 7-game series. The teams that are banged up, the teams that are, their stars are limping on one leg, they don't tend to win these series. So be aware, pay a lot of attention to who's staying healthy and who isn't. My number one rule of the postseason is real simple. When a team is done, they're done. I've seen teams with a 2-1 series lead, and they're just done. They've used all the energy they have. There's not much left in the tank. So all this, they're going to come back and win game 5 at home. And when a team's done, they're fade material only, at least in this bettor's opinions. And of course, much like the regular season, the NBA playoffs are a marathon, not a sprint. All right. This weekend, there's going to be 8 games, 4 on Saturday, 4 on Sunday. There's 2 tonight. There's 2 tomorrow night. There's going to be 2 on Friday as well. Great. We may have a handful of action over the course of these game ones or these play-in games. Absolutely. But this is going to go on for the next 2 months plus. You're not going to get rich this weekend. You're not going to go broke this weekend, at least if you bet correctly. Remember, this is not a sprint. It's going to be slow and steady wins the race. 61% in the NBA postseason over the last 2 years. We'll see if we can do it again in 2024. Some thoughts on the playoffs. Back to you, Mr. Prez.
Teddy covers. I'm excited for your 5% play. Good luck, kick ass. Guys, it's only $2 if you've never purchased from WagerTalk. Today's the day. I mean, for $2, price of a coffee, chocolate bar, well, they're more now. They used to be back in the day under $2. I remember when they were 25 cents, but that's a different story. My favorite personally was the Charleston Chew. Do you remember the Charleston Chew?
They still have them.
No?
Maybe not in Canada.
Yeah.
You can find them here in the States.
No, they still have them. But back in the day, when I was like 13, that was my favorite for only one reason. They were the biggest. And the Curly Whirly. I really liked the Curly Whirly. Remember that one?
No.
It was a pretzel, kind of like braided caramel dipped in chocolate. Speaking of caramel dipped in chocolate, Drew Martin joining us, everyone. How was that segue, Drew?
Prez, was pretty good, man. I thought you recovered from comparing the $2 Tuesday to a price of coffee nowadays. That might have dated you a little bit because at least down here in South Florida.
I date myself.
Definitely not $2, but hey, I miss those days as well, man. But always good to be on
Dunkin'
with
Donuts?
you and Teddy, so thanks for having me.
Dunkin' Donuts, like a small coffee, is more than $2.
I mean, I haven't been to Dunkin' Donuts in
nobody
a while.
orders a small coffee.
So
Yeah.
a medium coffee. How much is a medium coffee at Dunkin' Donuts?
Let's start with larges. All right. No one's ordering smalls and mediums. We're men. We order a large coffee, and I'll take the over $2 for sure.
Okay.
Before taxes.
Fair enough. Drew, let's get straight into it. Baseball talk. Nice win by Toronto yesterday. Put together a decent run. I think they're now 5-2 on their homestand. They're playing the Yankees tonight. How are we betting this game?
Yeah, Brez, the Jays have won 3 straight, and the Yankees lose 2 straight. And you're right, the Jays have been good north of the border. The Yankees good on the road, 8-3, and one of the best teams, if not the best team in baseball, record-wise. What your record says you are, in 12-5 for the Bronx Bombers. They get Carlos Rodon on the hill. It's a battle of southpaws here up against Kikuchi going for the Jays. He's been good. Great numbers. 1.7 ERA. His walk's a little bit high. That's concerning. Kikuchi numbers as well, 20-7 strike ratio, and only 1 earned run given up in his last 11 innings. But here's the angle I'm going off of and why I like the Yankees. And you can grab them plus 105 here. So I think it's kind of wrong team favored. In the overnights, the money has come in on the Blue Jays. I'm actually kind of kicking that, Prez, and going on the Yankees here. And it's because Kikuchi's faced the Yankees in his team, the Seattle Mariners. So he's going to be facing this Yankees lineup for the time in 10 days. And I actually think that helps the offense here. It helps the Yankees lineup because Kikuchi, he's, an Asian pitcher from Japan. And I bring that up because a lot of times they have kind of quirky deliveries and it can throw off the timing of the hitters. But I think the Yankees seeing him for the second time in a short period of time is going to help. So that's the reason I like the Yankees today. We can get them at the plus price. Not a huge play, but a big one in the AL East here. So, give me the Bronx Bombers at the plus price.
Bronx Bombers at the plus price, it says Drew Martin. Drew, there were some internet connectivity issues.
To say the
take a
least.
second and refresh your screen if you need to. We'll come back to you in just a minute, and I'll hold my follow-up question through then. But certainly, Toronto has been the type of team that hasn't been well respected in the markets all that yet, doesn't have the starting pitching at the bottom of the rotation that's going to attract high prices. Kikuchi's not a guy who the markets have fallen in love with. Certainly, I remember Tokyo Brandon coming on the show and talking about Kikuchi as his number one fade, but that was a good year or two ago. Kikuchi certainly pitched a lot better down the stretch last year, and he's been good to open up the season here in 2024.
Yeah, last year Kikuchi was amazing, Teddy. I'll tell you one quick poker story that really was insane. Woman sits down at the table, starts asking everybody how old they are. And then she gets to me and I'm like, I'm 55. And she's like, oh, I'm 50 in 9 months, but I have terminal cancer and I'll be dead in 6. Why are you telling us this? I mean, my heart broke for this woman. And I was like, is this a ploy? I shouldn't go all in on her. Like, why are you telling us this? I'm at a poker tournament. I'm enjoying myself. Oh, so, yeah, that was not. I mean, can you believe? Like, just announced it within like 1 minute of sitting at the table. Anyway.
So I'm sorry that people's terminal illnesses make you uncomfortable, Lawrence.
Do you think it was a ploy? Eric DeLong, one of our listeners, writes mind games, Prez. What do you think? No.
So if someone, again, when I sit down at the poker table, my instant reaction is to hate everyone. You know, I mean, I have no sympathy. I don't like it. I mean, my natural gut at a poker table when I sit down is F all y'all. I don't like a one of you and I want all your money. So, I mean, if someone came on and told a story like that, I'll absolutely push her all in. Next hand if I have to. You know, I don't care.
Well, firstly, your natural reaction in any environment is to hate everyone. Drew Martin, welcome back.
Thanks for having me back. And sorry about the internet.
Yeah, it's still bad.
It's still going. Yeah.
Yeah.
All right,
Teddy, no follow-ups. Let's get.
Sorry.
It's all good, Drew. These things happen, and certainly not your fault. I mean, I'd love it to be your fault. That would mean you own a huge internet provider, and you'd be incredibly wealthy. So, you know, shame it ain't your fault, Drew Martin. Seattle, Cincinnati. Seattle minus 125. No follow-ups at all, Teddy. We'll get Drew's pick quick and move on. Where are you going here, bro?
Logan Gilbert, home team, minus $1.25. Better bulge as well, minus 125. Seattle in cap, guys.
Yeah. We're going to skip Drew Martin. He likes Seattle, Teddy, minus the 125 against the Cincinnati Reds. And these things happen, man. There's nothing we can do about it. It's certainly not his fault. Let's go straight to the big game breakdown. Regale us, my friend.
Well, let me real quick promote for our good friend Drew. Drew is 7-0 with his last 7 Tuesday totals in MLB. He's got a 3-for-1 Tuesday MLB big bet package, 32-21, up 34% over the last 7 weeks. So check out Drew's package right now, WagerTalk.com, a 3-for-1 best bet special. I'm going to talk about the Dodgers and Nationals with my big game breakdown. This is a fascinating game. It really is. Looking at the Wager Talk live odds screen right now, Dodgers still don't have a starting pitcher announced. And they're minus 280, minus 290 against Washington and Patrick Corbin. The Dodgers have lost back-to-back games. They've lost 4 of their last 5. They're 11-8 overall, a plus 10 run differential. Nothing impressive so far from LA. And again, looks like a bullpen game. Ryan Yarbrough is going to pitch. We don't know if he's going to start or but you know, it's going to be a bullpen games. So let me start with this. I love bullpen games for teams I want to back. You're getting a cheaper price to lay. Now, when we talk about LA tonight, when I want to back a elite team that hasn't been playing well lately, I'm only backing them on the run line. There's no way I'm going to lay minus 270, minus 280, minus 290 on a team that isn't playing their best baseball right now. I'm playing the spot, not the team. The Dodgers haven't played great ball. So if I'm playing, I'm going to reduce my liability, lay a run and a half, maybe lay 2.5 with LA. Look for an alternate run line. And look, the Nationals aren't any good. They used all their best bullpen arms last night. Patrick Corbin, you can make a case that no starting pitcher who's had the last 3 seasons that he had would be starting anymore anywhere. But the Nats need arms and they paid the guy. So he's still out there. Corbin's been awful. He was awful last year. He was awful the year before. This isn't new or different. The bullpen behind him is used up. And the Dodgers, one would expect to come with focus after, losing the finale. And really, the Dodgers have played mediocre ball ever since they went to, they had that series in Chicago where they lost 2 out of 3 to the Cubs. They couldn't finish the sweep against the Twins. It's a team that really hasn't put the pedal to the metal yet at all today. They've got the right opponent and the right pitching staff to do it. Minus 1.5, minus 135 makes a whole lot of sense to this better, and no argument. If you want to lay more than that with the Dodgers, that's the way to play LA on Tuesday night. There's your big game breakdown, and don't forget, check out my $2 Tuesday play in NBA basketball. 5% big ticket action tonight at WagerTalk.com. Lawrence?
Teddy covers. Let me just tell everyone what I got going. As I spoke about, I'm absolutely rolling right now. I am on a 12-4 all sports betting run, but I'm on a 12-2 NHL run. I got an NHL bet that I think is just going to be easy. Like one of those great opportunities to step out, and I found one for tonight. I also have 2 baseball bets and 1 NBA bet. You can get the entire package over at WagerTalk. Check that out. Carmine Bianco joining us. We're going to discuss some NHL. How are you, brother? You're getting excited? Playoffs soon.
Yeah, it's Saturday, the playoffs, but tonight's decision day is absolutely tonight we decide who's going to make the playoffs in the Eastern Conference. The West is set. It's just positioning there and some position in the East, but some 3 big games tonight. 2 of them with obviously playoff implications.
Carm, let's start right off the bat with Washington and Philadelphia, because ultimately it all goes away if Washington wins. They are in total control of their destiny. They win. Pittsburgh and Detroit are out, and they are a plus 130 here. Now, I wrote a free pickup on this Washington game, and I think there is a ton of value betting Washington. I think Philadelphia is going to give it their all. But, man, if Detroit goes into Montreal, they get up 3-4-0 early. Philly's going to cave. Their entire emotional state will change. And this Washington team is such a veteran hockey team. Although they're crap, how can you not bet Washington tonight at plus 130?
No, listen, I get it. The market pushed this price up on Philadelphia from the opener last night. At one point, it was at minus 150, 155 this morning when we were doing puck time, Andrew and I and Brian Leonard. And now the market's come back. People are coming back on Washington. I think the price was just too juicy on them. And you mentioned it. Listen, when I was on the show with you guys, I think it was last week, we talked about pulling goalies in overtime. The unique thing about this game is that Philadelphia has to win in regulation. So in a tied game, they need to pull their goalie, whether it's with 2 minutes left, 3 minutes left. It doesn't matter when. In a tied game, Philadelphia has to pull their goalie in this game. Going to overtime and winning in overtime does nothing for them. They're out of the playoffs. They need to win this game in regulation. So, I talked about on Puck Time a couple of things and looking at the fact that we could get that scenario here and possibly some goals. I don't want to look at the total of the game at 5.5. I actually want to look at the Washington team total. It is at 2.5 minus 125. And a lot has to happen for this game to get to 2-2, where they pull the goalie and Washington's got an empty net. But there's also scenarios where Philadelphia pulls their goalie down 2-1.
Sure.
There's a ton of different scenarios with them that you can get there, Prez. And I think that's the best play here, is taking the Washington team total. I think the price is where it should be right now. All the value on Washington was lost when the market came back to they're at plus 120 right now.
Washington team total worth a look as well, says Carmine Bianco. We appreciate all the likes. We appreciate all the follows. And of course, if you want Lawrence's, you got a presidential address today, Lawrence? Should we
of
look
course
to get
I
100
do, my
likes
brother.
before the show is through?
Yeah, and last we left, Teddy, I just steamrolled in the daily presidential address. I bumped into a guy Carm. I bumped into a guy in Montreal. He's like, "You're the Prez." Most of the time, I get recognized from my voice and not my face, which is strange. And he was talking about the daily presidential address, how he bets it every single day. So for his sake, let's get to 100 likes and let's get to Carmine Bianco's next game.
Absolutely, Carm. Let's talk. Well, you're Canadian, right? So we got to talk one of these Canadian games, don't we? What do we have? Calgary and Vancouver.
Yeah, we got to talk Canucks. The Canucks.
What are they? Minus 220. Total 6 juice to the over. What do you want to do with the Flames and the Canucks tonight?
So I'm hoping the Flames crash and burn tonight. Obviously, Vancouver's playing extremely well. They need a point, and they lock up the Pacific with the number 1 seed, and they'll play one of the wild card teams there. So how they get it, I don't think really matters as far as the seeding goes. But I have to believe that they're going to play a solid game tonight and probably win this game by margin. Thatcher Demko returns between the pipes tonight. He's been injured, or he was injured back on March 9th was the last game he played. He was taken off the injury reserve a couple of weeks ago. They've been bringing him along in practice and getting him into game shape. And you have to believe he's as Thatcher Demko goes, Vancouver goes. The guy is 34, 13, and 5. He is the goalie that is, if they make a run in the playoffs, it's going to be because of him. He's not going to win the Vezina this year. It's going to go to Hellebuck from Winnipeg, who's the big odds on choice to win it. But you have to believe that they're going to protect this guy in front of the net. They're going to play a strong defensive game. And I just think that they win this game by margin. And by margin, I mean covering the puck line. The puck line on Vancouver right now is minus 1.5, plus 115. If you look at long-term for the full season at home, it's not a big profit, but it's a plus 6.2 units on the puck line for Vancouver. It's the exact opposite for Calgary on the road. They haven't been good. In their last 10 on the road, Calgary are 2-8 to the puck line, minus 12.05 units, or minus 18.5 ROI. I'm fading this Calgary team. I'm taking this Vancouver team. They'll end their homestand by clinching the Pacific Division tonight by 2+.
Quick follow here, Carmen. Of course, I'm going to go on a complete tangent in a different direction. I saw Edmonton as, what are they, $6 favorites yesterday? $6.50. That's as high as a number you'll ever see in hockey. And of course, it was 9-1 after 2 periods, a one-sided affair where the line was absolutely right. They deserve to be maybe even higher than that. Is that the case for the Golden Knights tonight against the Blackhawks? I mean, I'm seeing $4, $4.25. Is that blowout central, or is that a dog that might be live?
Yeah, I think it is. I think they still, if memory serves me correct, and maybe the Prez can answer this as well too. I believe that they still have a shot at the at moving up as far as the seedings go. The Vegas Golden Knights currently sit in 8th right now, but they can move up to 7th place in that one because the LA Kings lost last night, and you avoid the Dallas Stars. It also means you get Vancouver. And I think Vancouver is a much more favorable matchup for the Vegas Golden Knights than the Dallas Stars are. The Stars have come to Vegas and shut down the Golden Knights. I'm not sure Vancouver can do it, even with that goaltending. So I think it's one where we see the Knights. The Jack Eichel shot props have been absolutely money makers over the last month or so. So I would probably look at that as well too. I'm never going to lay a minus 400. I wouldn't have laid the 600. I think the overreaction, Teddy, last night was the fact that they were playing the Sharks and the fact that Connor McDavid, after missing 3 games, came back and he was in the lineup and scored, I believe, a minute or two into the game.
Carmine Bianco joining us. Carm, real quick, Austin Matthews, 1 away from 70. Nobody has gotten 100 assists in 30 years. Connor McDavid did that last night. We might have 2 with Kucherov, and he's playing as well. And nobody has scored more 70 goals in over 30 years either. Does it happen tonight? If so, does he sit the next game? If it doesn't happen tonight, does he sit there? I mean, what do we do with Austin Matthews?
Well, he's going to play tonight. I haven't seen any indication that he's not going to play. I'll make this quick. I think the better bet, Prez, instead of him scoring is, and this is a client play, a 2% play on Austin Matthews over 4.5 shots, minus 130. He had 10 shots against Detroit on the weekend. He's going to be set up all night with Max Domi out of the lineup. Mitch Marner moves to the number 1 line. Keefe was trying to spread out the offense, but he's got to move him back, and he's a setup guy. So he's just going to set up Matthews. Matthews is just going to be shooting on goal all night, trying to get that first one. Hopefully he doesn't get it in the first period, and then they manage his minutes. But over 4.5 shots I think is the better bet here, and hopefully he gets it. 70 goals it's an elusive number and quite an accomplishment.
Yeah, that 4.5 shot bet is, Teddy, I'll come to you in a sec. That 4.5 shot prop bet sounds great. That makes a lot of sense, Teddy.
I was going to say, the last time someone scored 70 goals, Alexander Mogilny for the Sabres in 92-93. And in that same year, Teemu Selanne for the Winnipeg Jets. Both scored 70-plus goals. So, yeah, it's been a long, long time since that happened. Carmine, what do you got to promote, my friend, before we get to Lawrence's presidential address? Last chance to give him those likes and thumbs up. We appreciate it.
Yep, 5% play up in the NHL tonight. 6-2 last 8 5% plays, up 37 plus units in 2024 in NHL, and just gearing up for the playoffs. Really looking forward to it. In the analysis section of that 5% play, if you scroll down, you're going to see every other play that I'm on today as well too in NHL. I want to make sure you guys get everything on. So if you pick it up, you'll get the other plays that I have in the NHL tonight. Guys, thanks for having me on. Really appreciate it.
And for the record, everyone, I absolutely love Carmine Bianco's 5% play. Teddy, you don't pay attention to hockey. Alexander Mogilny, one of the travesties in the history of hockey. This guy is not in the Hall of Fame. It's insane. Yeah, bugger off. So we had a YouTube Shorts question from Auto Area. He asked, what are your thoughts on the Warriors versus the Kings? Shout out to you. Thank you so much for watching. We actually took that game apart at the top of the show. Bryan Power came on to do that, and he liked the Golden State Warriors at minus 2.5. I will make one quick suggestion, and that is if it drops to 2, bet it on the money line instead of taking the points. Teddy covers. Let's refresh. Boom, boom, boom. 100 on the nose,
and of course,
baby.
Lawrence.
Yes,
Lawrence.
sir. Yes.
From the YouTube Shorts question that you answered instead of throwing it to the NBA guy, I will be doing a video on the Kings Warriors, one of many videos you can find each and every day, absolutely free on WagerTalk TV. I'll be recording it as soon as this show is done. It should be posted in less than an hour, so you can get my thoughts on Warriors Kings, as well as all the other free videos each and every day from WagerTalk.com. That's why you subscribe. That way you get instant access and instant alerts when new stuff is posted. Lawrence, now it's time for your daily presidential address.
Why, thank you, Theodore. And let's get to it, everybody. So as we spoke about, I've been on a little bit of a run. I've been on a monster run, 12-4, all betting run, 12-2 NHL run. I have one NHL play up tonight, 2 baseball plays, and 1 NBA play. I got 3 plays to give out for you on the daily presidential address. The first one is the Washington Capitals at plus 130. Look, there's just simply too much value here. I'm shocked that this Washington Capitals team is a dog. They're in a must-win spot. They have a veteran lineup. They're playing way better than they were. It makes no sense to me, that line. The next bet is the Vegas Golden Knights -1.5, -150. This Vegas team, I think they win this game 5-1 type of a game. I think they destroy Chicago. So take Vegas -1.5, -150. And the last is the Columbus Blue Jackets. And one of our listeners actually pointed out in the chat room that he likes Columbus tonight. They're plus 205. This bet makes a ton of sense to me. Carolina can't move. They're locked into the spot they're locked in. They're going to rest. There's no reason to have any intensity. They're not diving in front of shots tonight. They're not hitting people, flying around. And that's the type of game they play. They're not playing that type of game tonight. They just want to get out of Dodge without any injuries. So take Columbus plus 2.5. Teddy, one last thing, my brother. We are putting up a promo. So check back for that. It will be Teddy's NBA season and Teddy's NBA playoffs and my NHL season. That promo should be ready in the next 10 to 15 minutes. It'll be on the deals tab over at WagerTalk. So please check that out. And it makes so much sense, that package to buy. Dude, I mean, my NHL has been ridiculous. And your NBA has been my NHL ridiculous times 2, maybe times 4. That's how good your NBA has been. We got the playoffs starting shortly. We're going to promote this package all week. It makes total freaking sense. Teddy's NBA, entire playoffs. My NHL, entire playoffs. And that way, we, you and me, can win together. Take us home, bro.
Oh, that'll be fun, Lawrence. I can't wait. All that being said, $2 Tuesday. Don't forget, take advantage of the $2 Tuesday play over at WagerTalk.com. That'd be my 5% big ticket in the NBA for tonight, up more than 210 units of profit in the NBA since 2022, counting every play every day. That's going to wrap it for the Tuesday edition. We'll do it again tomorrow, same time, same channel, 9 a.m. here on the left coast, noon for you back east. Between now and tomorrow's show, you guys know what to do. Enjoy the games, and best of luck with your wagers.